A day after a murder case was registered over the death of journalist Sulabh Srivastava in Uttar Pradesh's Pratapgarh, the police investigation has made no headway so far. There have been no arrests, nobody has been called up for questioning, especially from the liquor mafia against whom Sulabh had done stories recently. And according to the police, one of the eyewitnesses, a bricklayer worker, saw Sulabh's bike hitting the hand pump, but there is no CCTV evidence to prove that claim. Now, interestingly, multiple injury marks have also been found on Sulabh's body. The postmortem of the deceased has shown that death took place due to shock and hemorrhage. The hemorrhage was triggered by ante-mortem injuries, as there were injuries also found on his forehead and contusions found between his kidney and spleen. Well, remember, just a day before his death, Sulabh had written to senior police officials saying that he felt threatened following his recent reportage on the liquor mafia in the district. Sulabh's wife, Renuka Srivastava, submitted a complaint on Monday, alleging that the liquor mafia had her husband murdered. It was this complaint that was turned into an FIR. She's also alleged that her husband, after reporting on the liquor mafia, had received threats to his life for 3 days. However, according to her, the police had taken no action despite being informed about the threats. Alok joins us for more on this. Alok, what's the latest update as far as the investigation is concerned? Bring us up to speed with what the police has done since yesterday.
See, Aarti, as far as this investigation is concerned, now the police has, in fact, written to the head, the state head of that particular news channel, so that they could access the stories which Sulabh Srivastava had done in past 2 months. Remember, because Sulabh Srivastava, in his letter which he has written to ADG, he has never mentioned that which story, after doing regarding the liquor mafia, he was started getting the threats, or he was being chased whenever he comes out his house. So that is why the police wants to reach out to specifically which story has triggered this the situation where he had to face this kind of threat. And apart from that, the police has recorded as of now 5 persons' statement. These 5 persons are basically those who are the workers at the brick mill. Remember, Sulabh Srivastava was found injured near a brick mill in Pratapgarh, and the person who were working at the brick mill, in fact, those who are eyewitnesses, one eyewitness has claimed that his bike was hit with the hand pump, due to which he received grievous injury and he died. But police is not completely believing on that theory. Police is still saying that because the family members had raised suspicion of the death, and that is why they have registered the case under section 302. So they are still gathering evidences, and if they found any kind of witness who claim that he died because of any kind of attack, then definitely the further investigation will proceed in that manner. But as of now, police has only written to the channel head and also recorded the statement of the eyewitnesses which they have found. And police is suspecting that it is the case of accident, is still suspecting, but they are saying that their investigation is happening from all possible angles. As far as the postmortem examination is concerned, that has also come. It tells that he had died because of the ante-mortem injuries. So police investigation, further investigation is depending on the statement that will be given by the channel head, and also from other witnesses who will come forward. Back to you.
Alok, thanks so much for that. So, no headway in the probe. Joining us this afternoon on The Big Story, Anila Singh, spokesperson of the BJP and senior journalist and editor of the Free Press, Sharat Pradhan. Thank you so much for taking time out and speaking to Mirror Now. Anila Singh, let me just start off with you. We're not prejudging any incident here. It could be an accident, it could be a murder. But the fact is the Uttar Pradesh police were very quick to dismiss it as a case of an accident. And given the circumstances, given the fact that this man had written to senior police officials saying that he was under threat, he's been under threat for 3 days from the liquor mafia, why was the Uttar Pradesh police so quick to decide how he died?
You cannot say that the police was too quick to decide, but the thing is, prima facie, pratham drishtya, which we say in Hindi, it was an accident and there were witnesses who saw the accident. So police filed the case of accident. But after the post-mortem, a report. Then again an FIR was lodged, and it had section 502 and 302 and 506, both of them. So you cannot say that the police did everything in very haste. But the thing is, yes, initially witnesses were there and they said yes, it was an accident. But later on, after the postmortem report, when facts came in front that there were several injuries, so police and the relatives of the demise, they said no, they feel that there is some sort of conspiracy. So new FIR was lodged with 302 and 506.
Well, Anila Singh, I think part of that is also due to the fact that the media put a lot of pressure. There's been political reactions coming into the story as well. So the Uttar Pradesh police didn't have a change of heart in the absence of any external pressure on them to actually investigate this case properly. Sharad Pradhan, Pratapgarh is a place which is notorious for a liquor mafia that is operating there. The same liquor mafia that Sulabh Srivastava had been reporting about, the same liquor mafia that he said had threatened him over the past few days.
You know, the fact that Sulabh had himself made this complaint, the police should have woken up much earlier, which they did not. You know, what surprises me is the same UP police is very swift in taking action against journalists when they expose some wrongdoing of the government. They jump to conclusions and book people for sedition, for anti-national activity. But when it comes to the murder of a journalist, which is very apparent, they get into this slow mode. They find escape routes, providing escape routes to the culprits, and the ruling party finds it very convenient to instantly come to the defense of the police, without realizing that it could happen with somebody from their family tomorrow. This kind of, if you allow the police to get away with murder, then they are bound to take advantage. But somehow the ruling party people do not seem to understand this. And what I feel very strongly that is needed to be done is this investigation needs to be taken away from the local police. Obviously, the local police is in cohorts with the liquor mafia. That happens every local police is no liquor mafia can operate without the shelter of the police anywhere, whether it is Lucknow or Punjab or Delhi or anywhere. So the first thing that needs to be done in this case is that this case needs to be given to an SIT from outside of the district of Pratapgarh. We all know how things work in Pratapgarh. And there should be, I mean, there's no reason for the ruling party to take this otherwise. They should be fair and also appear to be fair. It is not just being fair and claiming to be fair. And so the problem is, if you want to get to the depth of this murder, then it has to be an independent investigation. An independent investigation cannot take place if the government keeps influencing the police and trying to, for no reason. They decide that, oh, no crime can take place under our. After all, if there is a liquor mafia, you are not in connivance with the liquor mafia. By doing this, by coming out with a defense for the police, the ruling dispensation is only showing that they are protecting the liquor mafia, which they should not be doing. And I don't think they have any intention of doing so. But
okay,
let's be fair to the journalists.
Anila Singh, I'm going to come to you for a response and give you full opportunity to respond to that. But Sharad Pradhan, you mentioned this very briefly. You were speaking about the liquor mafia operating in Pratapgarh. You also said we know how Pratapgarh is. For our viewers, could you just elaborate a little and shed some light on the background? Yes.
Well, it is a notorious district, and there is not only the people closely connected with the government. There are some people in the government who belong to Pratapgarh and who are known to have traditionally indulged in all kinds of illegal activities, whether it is illegal transport service, whether it is illicit liquor, and other crimes that are committed. And that's why I said that they are providing and they are doing it not without being in connivance with the police. So, and it is common knowledge. I don't want to take names. There are people, and there is somebody in the government also who protects these people and who has made his way up to very high levels only because of this protection of the local mafia. So there is every reason that government should not only be fair but also appear to be fair and impartial.
Yes, well, Mr. Pradhan, I just want to add to that, and I'll come to Anila Singh for a response. I think there have been 6 SPs who've been transferred in 2.5 years in Pratapgarh. That also says something.
That's another. Yeah.
Yes, that also says something about the kind of pressure that they're operating under, and perhaps their hands are tied as well. Anila Singh, do you want to come in on how the liquor mafia is being allowed to operate with complete impunity? In fact, we've seen just in the past month 2 incidents of hooch deaths as well, and the fact that the police appear in Pratapgarh to be under constant pressure to toe a particular line, and if not, they're shunted out.
That's right.
See, one thing is very clear that if you blame Yogi Adityanath ji and his government that they are somehow somewhat behaving in hands and gloves with liquor mafias, then that is absolutely incorrect. Absolutely incorrect. Yogi Adityanath ji is one chief minister who is not going to entertain this. But at the same time, we cannot deny this fact that these liquor mafias, they do exist. They do exist everywhere in our country. And they exist in Uttar Pradesh as well. And as a journalist, like, he was afraid, and he was complaining also that somehow he wanted to crack a story, and he was being threatened, and he was being followed, and he had complained to police as well. So I have to say this here, that police should have taken some action when a journalist is saying that he is being threatened by these liquor mafias. At times, if the action is not taken at right time, when, like we say, a stitch in time saves 9. We could have seen this journalist still with us, but the thing is, somehow, like, he was scared. I don't know whether it was an accident or whether it was a murder. That is the point of query, investigation. So that is on. But as the police is saying, if the relatives request for the SIT or they request for the CBI, as Mr. Pradhan was also saying, that inquiry should be shifted to CBI, and it should not remain with the Uttar Pradesh police. So police also says that if the request comes from the family, they will go ahead with this request. But the thing is, I can only say that Yogi Adityanath ji doesn't entertain any sort of illicit wrong practices in his state. But yes, it is a huge state, and many a times we see wrong things happening, and they have to be crushed, and action should be taken on them. This is what Yogi Adityanath ji always conveys to the police and the administration of Uttar Pradesh. Yes, I will say that if I talk about UP police and the administration, it is their duty also that every time it doesn't has to come from the Uttar Pradesh chief minister. Even they know how to work. Governments, they come and go. They have to serve this state, and they should do it in proper way.
Well, Anila Singh, I appreciate your candor there, and that's all we're asking for. We don't know whether it is an accident, we don't know whether it is a murder, but there should be a fair probe to get to the root of what really happened. Anila Singh and Sharad Pradhan, thank you so much for speaking to Mirror Now this afternoon.